Well, it's a complicated process, music videos, but it starts with a song. Generally, that song is going to be attached to an artist who has somewhat of an idea. But first, internally, we have to hear the record. We want to know who the artist is. It helps if you know the artist, and we really have to be on top of all the music video directors that are out there, and their creative abilities and their points of view, and try to match that artist and that song up with the right directors. Then we usually pick 3 to 4 different people, sometimes more, and then we send the music out to that director for solicitation for a concept. Sometimes we'll get the artist on the phone with that person so that the artist can discuss what their creative vision is. Sometimes we have that conversation with the artist and then we relay it to the directors. And then the directors spend about a week with the music, and then they have to turn in an idea. And then from there we take, and that's on a written page, so it's really, you have to hope that it's written well so that you can see it in your head. For the people who make videos, it's a little bit easier for us to read it and kind of see it than other people that are involved in the process. It's important to get the input from the marketing person involved, sometimes the A&R person, because they really know the song and the artist, and obviously the managers and the artists themselves are involved too. So once that's decided upon, then the artist kind of steps aside and we have to get very involved with the production company. First is coming up with the budget and working through that, making sure that all the elements that we need to have on screen are in that budget, and that what we're paying, we know exactly what we're paying for, and that what we're getting and what we expected. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then there's a lot of pre-production that goes into it. Generally, the production company and the producer are on the phone. They're the ones that are on the phone day to day, getting the locations, hiring the grips, making sure the catering is there. But we are overseeing that. So in that essence, we're kind of like the executive producers at that point. And we have to make sure that everybody stays on track and on time and focused. And then from there, we go, we're at the shoot. And then usually it's a 2-day, 1 to 2, sometimes more, extravaganza. And it's kind of just keeping an eye out, making sure that we're getting everything that we need, and that the shots are right, and the artist is giving his best performance, and that they're happy, and all those things. Yeah, well, MTV, BET, those are kind of like the 2 largest, most popular broadcast networks, VH1. The interplay is that when you have a music video and that's being released, there's also a single that's being released to radio at that time. So you're hoping that that the 2 are going to support each other. MTV, BET, VH1, they all have weekly meetings, and they have to decide what is going to get added that week, just like a radio station. And I think it varies from week to week. Sometimes a video station will have ability to add 4 or 5 videos, but sometimes it's only a few. But they get 20, 30 clips sometimes. So it's just not an obvious walk-on, like make a video, it's on MTV. There's a lot of other things that go into it. You have to have momentum. There has to be some success building. There has to be an audience. There has to be some radio acceptance. There's got to be a vibe out there. There's some of it. It's that intangible kind of element again. But yeah, generally, especially from an artist that nobody heard of or that's brand new, it just doesn't end up on the air without anything. There is an it factor. There's an it factor that comes across on film. It comes across in person. It comes across on stage. And there is a big difference between shooting a performance of kind of a so-so lackluster singer and performer and somebody who just turns it on and hits their mark every time. You can feel it, you can see it. You can see it in person when you're on set, you can see it on the film. And it makes it a lot easier to put it together. You don't have to edit around, so the artistry, everything always starts with the artistry. It starts with the music, it starts with the artist. and it's just kind of our job to make it better for them, and make it known.
Is it learnable, the it factor?
I don't know if it's learnable. I think it's honable. I think you can make it. I think you can improve a lot, but you have to have it. There has to be something inside you to be able to get it out there. I don't think that we can kind of change or tell the artist what to be or how to be. That's really that's their personality. At least that's my philosophy. I don't try to do that in music videos or marketing campaigns or anything like that. Because that's their personality. I mean, that's their personalities. You can't tell somebody, change your personality. That's kind of like who they are. But again, I think, as I mentioned earlier, you can help them hone it. You can give them choreography lessons. You can help them with movement. You can help them with interview skills. You can help them with styling and presentation. And all of that goes into it, as well as their own experiences. And the more practice they get, it's, if you were probably to go to any of your favorite artists, your favorite stars that have had more than one record out, say they've had, like 3, 4, 5 albums out, and you were to try to go back into an archive somewhere and find footage of them when they first, like their first music video or their first time on television, and then fast forward to now, you would see a huge improvement. Yeah, the decision to make a music video is not immediate with every act, and a lot of that's based on what kind of opportunities and outlets do we have to show the video. It's harder these days. Like if you watch, for instance, mainstream MTV, if you watch MTV2, you'll see that they have very specific genres of music. You may not be that aware of it, but it's true. And the same with radio stations. There's formats. You turn to radio station A versus radio station B to listen to rock or pop or hip hop or jazz, and it's really not that different with music video stations. For them, there's fewer of them, so they have to be a little bit more broad in their audiences, but they're still pretty specific. So for instance, it's pretty hard right now to get a new rock group on the air anywhere. The Fuse has been kind of a breath of fresh air over the last year or two, because they've kind of came onto the scene. But pretty much that's the only place right now. I think we're going to see music videos being used differently. I think we're going to be seeing more, something that we'd like to do here is to figure out how to use visual images differently. It doesn't have to necessarily be a music video. It could be behind the scenes footage. It could be, a day in the life of, or, that sort of thing. It doesn't always have to be the music video. But ways to get the moving image used on iTunes. Mobile phones now are taking downloads. People are paying money now to see television shows. So there's, it's still in its infancy, and we're really kind of charged with a task here now to figure out how to get on board with that, stay ahead of it, and try to see that as another avenue for not only promotion but also for revenue.